The first light of dawn slowly spread across the African dry woodland, revealing a landscape that looked untouched by time. This was not a lush rainforest with towering trees and thick green vines. Instead, the land stretched endlessly beneath a pale golden sky, covered with scattered umbrella-shaped acacia trees, thorny shrubs, dry. Yellow grasses, weathered termite mounds, dusty animal trails, and patches of cracked earth that had waited months for rain. A gentle breeze carried the scent of warm soil, while flocks of small birds greeted the morning with soft calls. Herds of Cape buffaloes emerged from the shadows, walking slowly toward a shallow waterhole that reflected the colors of the rising sun. Among these giant animals lived one of Africa's smallest yet most mysterious creatures, the red-billed oxpecker, barely larger than a
The
sparrow.
Oxpecker provides a
The little
vital
bird landed
service,
fearlessly on the
ridding
broad
the
back of an
buffalo
old
of
buffalo and
irritating
immediately
ticks.
began searching through its
A
coarse black
truly
fur.
symbiotic
With incredible speed
relationship in
and
the heart.
precision, it removed fat ticks, tiny mites, and blood-filled parasites that had buried themselves deep inside the animal's skin. The buffalo remained perfectly calm, almost
As the
grateful for
golden
the tiny
hour
visitor.
bathes the
More
woodland,
oxpeckers
the
arrived,
massive herd
hopping across
continues
massive
its
horns,
journey,
climbing
attended by
around
the
ears,
vigilant
and even
red-billed
pecking gently
oxpeckers,
inside folds of
ever
skin
alert
where
for
insects
parasites.
liked to hide. It looked like one of nature's greatest friendships. As the herd continued walking through the woodland, the birds worked tirelessly, cleaning every animal they could find while enjoying an endless supply of food. But the oxpecker offered something even more valuable than parasite control. From its high perch, the bird could see much farther than the buffalo below. Its sharp eyes constantly scanned the tall grass, rocky outcrops, and distant bushes for signs of danger. Suddenly, one oxpecker froze. Hidden among the dry grass, a pride of lions was silently creeping toward the herd. Before the predators could attack, the bird released a loud alarm call and burst into the air. Instantly, dozens of oxpeckers joined the warning, filling the quiet morning with sharp cries. Every buffalo lifted its head. Mothers rushed calves toward the center, while powerful bulls formed a protective wall, facing the approaching lions. Realizing their surprise attack had failed, the predators quietly disappeared back into the grass. On that morning, the tiny oxpecker had saved dozens of lives, proving why many people believed it was one of Africa's greatest wildlife heroes. As the blazing afternoon sun climbed high above the woodland, the peaceful partnership began to reveal a far more complicated truth. The buffalo that had been. As the blazing afternoon sun climbed high above the woodland, the peaceful partnership began to reveal a far more complicated truth. The buffalo that had been. Skin had already begun healing beneath the hot African sun. Instead of continuing to search for ticks, one oxpecker flew directly to the wound. It carefully pecked away the dried blood, reopened the cut until fresh blood slowly appeared again. Then, to the surprise of anyone watching closely, the bird lowered its bright red beak and drank the flowing blood. More oxpeckers quickly joined, each taking small sips while ignoring nearby ticks that would have provided easier food. The buffalo twitched its muscles in discomfort, but could do little to stop the determined birds. Scientists studying the strange relationship eventually discovered that oxpeckers sometimes delayed the healing of wounds simply because fresh blood provided a rich source of nutrition. Suddenly, the tiny bird no longer seemed like a selfless helper. It became something much harder to understand. A creature capable of both helping and harming the same animal on the very same day. Yet nature rarely follows human ideas of heroes and villains. Even while drinking blood, the oxpecker continued removing dangerous parasites that could spread disease throughout the herd. Without these birds, thousands of ticks would multiply rapidly, weakening buffaloes, giraffes, rhinos, zebras, and antelope across the woodland. The oxpecker was not cruel for pleasure. It was simply surviving in the only way evolution had prepared it. Every decision it made balanced food, opportunity, and instinct. Throughout the afternoon, buffaloes wandered beneath scattered acacia trees, while giraffes browsed high branches nearby, and zebras crossed open grasslands shimmering in the heat. Everywhere the giants. Wide cinematic aerial shots sweeping over the African dry woodland as buffaloes walked beneath scattered acacia trees. Giraffes gracefully browsed the upper branches, zebras steadily cross shimmering grasslands, and red-billed oxpeckers fly between the giant animals. Heat haze ripples above the ground. Golden grass moves gently in the breeze, and the camera glides smoothly in a realistic wildlife documentary style. Betrayal. Instead, it existed somewhere in the middle, constantly changing with every season, every wound, and every opportunity the harsh African wilderness presented. As evening slowly settled across the dry woodland, long shadows stretched over the dusty ground while the unbearable heat finally gave way to cooler air. Herds of buffalo gathered near the waterhole one last time before beginning their slow journey towards safer resting places among scattered acacia trees. Above them, flocks of oxpeckers moved gracefully through the fading golden light, searching for the tree, cavities where they would spend the night. Hidden inside old hollow branches, pairs of oxpeckers cared for tiny chicks that waited eagerly for their parents to return with. Insects, ticks, and other food collected throughout the day. The next generation would soon leave the nest and continue the same complicated relationship that had existed for thousands of years. As darkness covered the landscape, the calls of hyenas echoed across the plains while distant elephants quietly disappeared into the shadows somewhere beyond the thorn bushes. Lion prepared for another night's hunt, knowing that tomorrow the sharp-eyed oxpeckers might once again ruin their carefully planned ambush. The future of these tiny birds remained deeply connected to the survival of Africa's great mammals. Without buffaloes, rhinos, giraffes, and antelope, the oxpecker would lose both its food and its home. Without the oxpecker, many animals would suffer under growing numbers of parasites and lose one of the most reliable warning systems against hidden predators. Every species depended upon another in ways that were not always obvious. So, was the oxpecker truly a hero or a villain? The answer could never be explained with a single word. It saved lives by removing dangerous parasites and warning giant mammals of approaching predators.
As the sun rises,
in the African
the
dry
dance
woodland,
of
where every sunrise brought new
survival
challenges and
begins
every
anew
sunset
for the
rewarded
Cape
only
buffalo
those strong enough
and
to
the
adapt.
resilient creatures
Survival
of the
was never
the
about being
golden
good or
morning
evil.
light
It was about
illuminates
balance.
the
The
African
oxpecker's remarkable
savanna,
story reminds us that
revealing
nature does
the
not create
harmony
perfect
and
heroes or
balance
perfect
of
villains.
this incredible
Instead,
eco.
it creates survivors, and among all the creatures wandering Africa's endless wilderness, few demonstrate that complicated truth better than the tiny bird riding silently on the backs of giants.